Are you finding yourself a bit confused about the housing market in the Tampa Bay area? Well, you're not alone. And today, in this video, we're going to be diving into some of the current data, as well as answer, I hope, a couple of questions. So I've got my spectacles on and let's get after it right now. So guys, look, I am not a financial guru or an economist. I am an active real estate agent, actively in the market on the central west coast of Florida. So what I'm going to share with you is real data from the MLS and from the Realtor Board. And let's take a look at what some of the economists, the people that are actually in the know, are saying about the outlook for 2024. Don't forget, I love the comments. And again, like I said, I am not sitting here claiming to know everything. So I'm sure a lot of you out there know more than me. I love to hear it in the comments. Please share any information specifically about the Tampa, St. Pete housing market. All the other markets in the United States do not have any bearing on what's happening in our state. So keep that in mind. But again, always comment below. I love it. So what are some of the key factors involved in trying to understand the housing market in the Tampa metro area? Well, one is affordability, of course, interest rates, demand, cost of living. That makes sense, right? Number two is going to be inventory. What's available on the market? Distressed homes, we're going to talk about that, and new construction. And also some of the resale homes that maybe have a little bit of renovations, but not a ton. We got to talk about that as well. And number three is going to be outlook moving ahead. This is what everybody's trying to predict. None of us have a crystal ball, so we're all just going to do the best we can to try to navigate the waters leading into 2024. Let's dive into the data comparing October of 2022 to October of 2023. Let's take a look at the median sale price as well as the average sale price. You see that they're drastically different. That's why I like to look at both of the numbers. But both of them are trending up. So when people are talking about prices are dropping or they're waiting for prices to drop, I honestly don't recommend playing that game. If you're ready to purchase, just buy your house. We'll do all of our due diligence on the back end to make sure you're not overpaying for a house. But, the value of a home should increase naturally by about 2 to 3% a year. And that's now what we're seeing. So things are starting to level out as far as value. So you're not overpaying. We just had an adjustment because Tampa historically was flying low on the radar, nationally speaking. So then COVID happened. And we're going to look at the numbers a little bit more here. You can see the dips in the data, but I don't want to go back and talk to you about the pandemic age because we're past all that. So what's been happening in the last 365 days is that we're starting to see things normalize, but it hurts everybody because we're so used to having lower prices here and a lower cost of living that when people start to see the prices from 2 years ago compared to what they are now, it starts to freak them out. But I think we're starting to normalize. So yes, you're going to start seeing some of the prices, whether it's on the MLS or Zillow, whichever you choose to look at, you're going to start to see some of the prices going down, but that's because they were inflated to begin with. If they can't support the price based on the comps around it, then they're going to have to start coming down because people have gotten really smart. You're probably one of those people. That's why you're watching this video. And let me just go over some of these numbers with you. Medium time to contract, 20 days. That's down 13%. Again, just 3 days takes it down 13%. And then we've got new pending sales. That's up 3.5%. Not as high as it was back, again, years and years ago. So again, we're starting to level out. New listings, about 6%. Again, that has to do with inventory. People wanting to stay, they don't necessarily want to move. Pending inventory, negative almost 10%, okay? And in active listings, we're negative 6%. So let's circle this back a little bit. Let's talk about the average home price versus the median home price. The median is going to be skewed a bit because, they're averaging in the Hernando, Pasco, Hillsborough, Pinellas area. Average sales, is based on the average list price. So right now, we would love it. Most people, especially my clients, would really love it if the average price was in that 407, but the average home price is really starting at $5. Now, different numbers and different sites will tell you different things. I'm going to tell you on average, a 3.2 right now is going anywhere from 425 up, past 5s into 6s, depending on, what it looks like. Again, the homes that are, still seeing a flurry of offers are going to be those renovated homes. Everybody wants a redone home. The homes that are staying on the market, and I have a colleague that's got 8 listings right now and they're sitting, and that's because they are not fully renovated. They may have a new bathroom or a new kitchen, but they're not fully renovated. I think a lot of people are expecting to come to Florida and get brand new, off the truck, open box, here's a brand new house. And you can only get that if you're going to go to new construction. But new construction properties, as I've said on other videos, are going to be more in the outskirts of town. It's going to be in the north part of Tampa, which is not even really Tampa anymore. That's Wesley Chapel, Zephyr Hills, Land O'Lakes, even over to Trinity and Odessa. Or you can go southeast down to Riverview, Brandon, Parish, Waimama, all these areas that are starting to develop all these new construction properties, but you're not going to have the same infrastructure already set up that you do in the Tampa metro, and especially in St. Petersburg. Now in St. Petersburg, you're going to see some new construction, but that's usually one-offs or a big plot of land where they're going to put maybe 10 townhomes. So there isn't this huge community development happening in the Pinellas County area. Keep that in mind. So is there like bidding wars, as we used to call them? Not so much, but people are getting multiple offers on renovated homes. So if that's what you're looking at, you got to have a real strong plan with your agent. Give me a call. I'll help you. We'll talk about strategy. So the current stats are saying that honestly, our prices are again more, that average is going to be more like 415. Like I mentioned before, I'm seeing like 425. So that's actually up 2.5%. So again, as I was talking earlier about value, we're seeing things trending sort of in a normal direction now. Let's dive in a little bit into interest rates because it's such a big topic, and it needs to be, right? If you are going to purchase a home and you have a very specific budget, that interest rate could drastically affect how much of a house you can actually afford. And this is why I coach my clients on talking to a lender in the very beginnings of deciding to want to buy a house. And some people may think that's a little bit too early, especially if you're looking 6 months, even a year down the road. Might as well get ahead of the game. Talk to them about interest rates. Talk to them about your credit score. Credit score is huge. That's going to help you determine, that is going to help determine your interest rate. So if you want the best interest rate, you got to make sure your credit score is like stellar. You also have to have cash on hand. We are no longer in the days of you can just put a little bit here and there down. It just depends on, what program the lender offers you, but you're going to have to probably plan on 20% down. Not to mention, you need about 2 to 3% of closing costs in your pocket as well. So interest rates, we just took a dip just a little bit. We're hovering right about 7% right now as I'm making this video. We've been jockeying between 7 and 8% for a while, and there are some strong indications that we're going to see a little bit more of a drop in the interest rates moving into 2024. We're going to get into that in a minute because I'm going to pull an article from one of the economists that I follow at NARS, National Association of Realtors, who talks about the outlook moving forward. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's circle back. Here's the thing: marry the house, date the rate. This is what my lenders tell me all the time. Please coach your clients on this. Here's the reality: you can buy down rates. You can also refinance. So if you found a house that you love and you feel like it's a fair price for you and it's affordable and you've got the cash and you're approved, go for it. There is no more waiting in this housing market, especially in the Tampa area. And I also want to mention, I'm only talking about the Tampa-St. Pete area, okay? Every market is different. So if you're living in a different market and you're trying to learn about the Florida market, you have to understand you got to put all that California, LA, New York out of your head. It's a very different beast here, and I'm sitting in it every day working with my clients, so I know what I'm talking about. So when it comes to interest rates, this is a lender conversation. I personally recommend, shopping that rate and making sure that you are getting the best rate for you. And then as we get closer to wanting to make an offer, you're going to lock in that rate as best you can, okay? So don't forget, you really don't want to be waiting around for housing prices to drop in the Tampa-St. Pete area. We're just not seeing it. Another key factor I mentioned was inventory. So let's talk about inventory. If we go back to the stats based on the information from the Greater Tampa Bay Realtor Board, this is also pulling information from the MLS, by the way, just so you know. Take a look at this. So I really don't like to go back too far because that data is dead and over with because of the pandemic, right? But you look at this big dip we had right here. You can actually see when things started to go bad, right? And then everything started to creep back up again. So it started to creep back up in the summertime. And then we started to have this trend a little bit and plateaued a little bit. Then we took another dip. That was when the interest rates changed. So as you see, people bought with that low interest rate. Why would somebody who bought a home with 2 to 3% interest ever want to sell that house? Okay, so it's been really hard to get people motivated to sell their homes. Most people, it used to be 5 to 7 years they'd stay in a home. Now it's more like 3 to 5. So we're coming up on that 3, 4, almost 5, not 5 years, but we're trending in that direction. So as we're seeing inventory rise a little bit, that's due to some people deciding, hey, are they having to move for a job, life change, that sort of thing. So as we start to see the interest rates creep down, and I think they might start creeping down a little bit more, we're probably going to see more inventory, but we have to watch because that's when people start to inflate the rates. So I think all of you guys have gotten really educated out there and you're not going to fall for it. But the interest rates dropping does signify more inventory is coming. So you can start to see we're trending up as the interest rates have been creeping down and creeping down and creeping down. And if we look at the numbers, and again, we can't look at these numbers of 2020. Look, I mean, inventory was off the chain. And then look at that big drop though, from May of 2023 to June. It went from 35% to negative 4.3%. But then in July, it went to negative 21. And then we've just been in the negative for a while. But now we're starting to trend and seeing things improve. So we are hoping that we're going to get more inventory. All of us agents out here are praying for more inventory. And I'm going to talk about distressed homes in a minute because I think there is still this idea that you can grab a distressed home. And I'm going to show you how many sales there actually have been for distressed homes. The truth is, as the interest rates drop, the prices go up, it creates a frenzy. If you're waiting for this is why I keep going back to this. If you're waiting for the interest rates to drop, you have to be prepared to pay top dollar then for that house, because then we're going to be in a frenzy. So we're trying, I think what we're trying to do right now is we're trying to level out and we're trying to normalize is what I'm trying to say. Keep in mind that with supply and demand in real estate, if we have less than 3 months of inventory, it's a seller's market. More than 3.5 months, the buyers start to have a little bit more power and a little bit more of an upper hand. So we really want to start seeing those numbers going up and up and up, and they're trending in a good direction. So let's hope that we're going to start to see in 2024 some more inventory coming our way, which tends to happen in the new year. So if we take again a look at the data from GTAR, Greater Tampa Bay Realtor Board, you're going to see traditional sales right here, closing sales, in October of 2023, we're hovering right below 3,000. And the median sale price was in that 410, right? So that's basically what we're talking about. Percentage year over year, it's negative 14%. But again, that sale price right at 2.5%. Again, seeing just slight fluctuation in the prices, right? So again, nothing significant, no significant drop, no significant trend up yet. So if you look at the foreclosure numbers, there were 29 sales in October of 2023. Well, in 2022, there was only 6. And yes, it says 383%, year over year, but that number makes sense, right? But still, if you're looking at it compared to traditional sales, in October of 2023, there were 3,000 sales. So I don't think the foreclosure market is one you really want to chase. Short sales is even worse. There were only 2 sales in October of 2023 in short sales. So when everybody's talking about, oh, go get a distressed home in Florida, foreclosures, it's just not happening. Our last factor that I promised we'd talk about is outlook. And you know, I would love to say that I have a crystal ball and I can tell you what's going to happen in 2024, as the economists and financial gurus would love to tell you as well. But I'm going to tell you at least what the Florida realtors are saying, as well as some other economists. So in this article from the Organization of Florida Realtors, in 2024, state and national real estate experts expect Florida's housing market to strengthen a bit, driven by population and business growth. We are back to pre-pandemic normal patterns of sales. Inventory is increasing, which has helped slow price growth, and many buyers and sellers are on the fence now. They're waiting for interest rates to drop and to maybe make a different plan. But even if high rates persist, demand for Florida homes will remain strong. It will still be a seller's market. So keep that in mind. And if we go over to this article by Bankrate about mortgage industry insights, mortgage rates sink, could be heading back below 7%. So Lawrence Yen, chief economist at the National Association of Realtors, expects mortgage rates to fall below 7% in the next few months. I believe, quote, I believe consumer price inflation will be much lower, and that will allow the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates, he says. So it looks like there might be some hope on the horizon, at least for interest rates. But as far as the Florida market slowing down, I don't think it's happening anytime soon. But if you have any questions about the real estate market, or you're interested in relocating to the Tampa St. Pete area, I'm your girl. You know what to do. Please click my links below. All my details are below. Again, jumping on my calendar is probably the best way for us to start a conversation. And as always, I appreciate your comments below. I try to read them all and respond as best I can. But if you have anything to add to this video, I am open to it. So you know what to do below. And don't forget, hit that thumbs up if you like this content. That really helps grow my channel, and I really appreciate all of the love you guys have been showing my channel lately. It helps. And don't forget that subscribe button as well. That also notifies you when I'm dropping new videos, and I try to do them weekly. It is a busy time, but I promise I will do my best to get you guys as many videos as I can here as we keep rolling forward. So again, appreciate you sticking around and watching this video. And until next time, everybody, bye-bye.